Gary the Greatest. There was once a strong man called Gary. He worked at a fair. Every day he put on his shiny red shorts, his white vest and his boxing gloves. He stood on a platform and shouted,
"Roll up! Roll up! Come and watch me, Gary the Greatest! Watch me fight! Watch me lift tremendous weights! Watch me bend iron bars! You've never seen anyone as strong as me!"
The people goggled as Gary flexed his muscles and lifted enormous weights. Then they cheered and threw money. Sometimes Gary would shout,
"Ladies and gentlemen, I will give a super prize to anyone who can knock me down or lift something I can't lift. No one has done it yet. Gary is the greatest."
Often, men would jump up onto Gary's platform and challenge him to fight. But one biff from his boxing gloves and they were flat on their backs. Other people tried to lift his weights or bend his bars. But the gong would sound,
"Doing!"
and Gary would say,
"Time's up! No one has ever won my prize. I can beat anyone."
Then one day, a little old lady called Miss Maisie was at the fair. She was having a lovely time. She'd been on the roundabouts 3 times. She'd been in the Hall of Mirrors. She'd been on the ghost train. And now her purse was quite empty. "Listen to that strong man," she said. "I wish I could beat him." She stood and watched Gary for some time. Then she said, "Oi, Mr. Gary, oi!" She was so little, Gary didn't see her at first.
"Did you want me, ma'am?"
he said with a grin.
"Perhaps you'd like to try for the super prize."
He laughed, and all the crowd laughed too. "Why, that is exactly what I was thinking," Miss Maisie said. "I think I have something you won't be able to lift. It's in my handbag." Gary the Greatest was so tickled when he heard this that he laughed and laughed and laughed.
"Well, ma'am," he said, "if you have anything in that old handbag that I can't lift, I promise to give you that super prize. Perhaps you'll make sure my gloves are tied really tight. I want to be quite ready for this tremendous weightlifting."
So, little Miss Maisie tied up the laces of his boxing gloves as tightly as she possibly could. Then Gary started to shout again.
"This little old lady says I can't pick up something in her handbag. Hold up your handbag, ma'am."
Miss Maisie held up an old black handbag.
"Now, are you still sure you mean it, ma'am?"
"Oh, yes, yes," said Miss Maisie.
"Right then, put the object on my platform."
Miss Maisie opened a bag and carefully placed a pin, an ordinary pin, in the middle of the platform. With a great laugh, Gary bent down and tried to pick it up. Then he tried again. He wasn't laughing any longer. He tried again. But he had his great gloves on, firmly tied by Miss Maisie, and he couldn't get hold of that tiny pin. He knelt down. He crouched. He lay on his stomach and blew the pin along the ground. Then,
"Doing!"
the gong went. Miss Maisie's pin was still lying on the platform. Gary the Greatest handed Miss Maisie a ticket.
"You've certainly won my super prize. 3 turns on anything here at the fair. You can stay all day and it won't cost you a thing.
Miss Maisie had a wonderful day and went on everything.